the other weekend at the Fillmore, I took to do the only single that I had. Like, it was like the only cash litter that I had. So I was like, well, this is perfect. You know, he gave me 2 fucking slices of paper towel. It was great. It was a nice transaction.
Slices of paper towel.
I think I gave that guy a $1 or maybe $2 the first trip down, but after that I had nothing. So after that I just kept saying thank you and like bowing.
Thank you.
bit.
Yeah.
Like thank you so much for handing me the paper towel.
Thank you. I'm so honored. So honored.
We're talking about those gentlemen. I don't know if this happens in women's restrooms, right? This is just a guy thing where
I
they
think
basically
so.
have someone
I think
sit there
so.
with a table and there's cologne,
Maybe
lotion,
some like M&Ms.
Candy.
yeah, basically anything you would need on a night out. Probably cigarettes,
Hairspray, oils.
Yeah.
Like, they literally have like everything in there.
Pomade.
Wait, cigarettes?
Mousse.
Can they sell cigarettes?
I
like,
don't know. Probably he will. He'll sell you a Lucy for 25 cents. You know.
Yeah. Like the cops are gonna come stop that.
Yeah, I mean, no way. There's no cops there. It's just the security working. But yeah, it's fun going to concerts. It's always interesting seeing all the different types of folk that show up there mixed into the crowd.
Oh, and glad to have you back on the podcast, Kyle. It's
Yeah,
been a
back
while.
again. I think
Kyle's-
it's the 3rd time now.
Yes, Kyle's last appearance on the podcast was great. We just got into a bunch of crazy shit. It went way over time. I don't even know what happened, but it was
Yeah, it was a
good
long one.
episode.
I'm struggling to remember when that even was, honestly.
Probably about 10 months ago, I would say.
Something like that.
Maybe a year. So you want to get into this autonomous car topic, or did you want to get into the other thing?
Oh yeah, no. Just because I thought it was interesting. Like, I guess it makes sense that politicians will put forth bills for shit that isn't relevant yet, because it's like one of those things like autonomous vehicles. That's obviously going to be a thing. Maybe not in like the next 5 years, but within probably like 15 years, we'll probably see like a lot of people having those. But what Florida did was they passed a bill to make
I think they'll have them sooner than that. They basically have them, but for the masses. By the
yeah,
time,
for like
yeah.
the common person.
Of course, there's rich dudes right now driving on autopilot. You know it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just in the amount of tech we have right now, you know, there's some guy with a custom car built that has no, like, you know, restriction where you need to touch the steering wheel, and he's like, fuck it, I'll
I'd be
take the
shocked.
risk.
I'd be shocked if that wasn't the case.
Think about, some, like, Saudi billionaire who's like, I want a fully self-driving car. He pays the people directly at the companies to give him the autopilot technology and install it, and then he's like, I take the risk. I signed a disclaimer if it crashes me.
Money can
You
can
know
really do
some
anything.
guy has it. Yeah. He's riding on air suspension too, leaning back, not ever touching the steering wheel. Google Maps running.
But what Florida did was they passed this bill because right now, you know how like if you get like a Tesla, it'll have the self-driving functions, but you have to like legally to keep your hands on the steering wheel for you not to get like pulled over and whatnot. But what Florida did was they made it so if you had like let's say an autonomous vehicle came out of the market tomorrow with full auto features, you could legally drive it in Florida now.
I guess I didn't know that it wasn't legal to not have your hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah, no, because that blew my mind too. Because I thought that when like that was like a big thing with Tesla, I was like, "Fuck, we're here." But
I think it's
yeah.
definitely by state, like you said. So I think in California,
Yeah.
you don't have to have your hands on the wheel with autopilot. You just have to be aware. Like you can't be sleeping.
So
if you're sleeping, you'll definitely get pulled over.
When will that be federal law? You know, like will it ever be federal law?
Probably,
Or probably just state discretion.
I think
There's
it's
so many
it's one of
things
those
like
things where it's going to become so like a big factor. Like a lot of people are going to end up having it to where I feel like it can't be a state by state thing at that point. Like the federal government will have to step in and put some more regulations and shit, and you know get their hands on it a bit.
Maybe some broad rules, especially because there's interstates that are some of it is federal control.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, look, go to different states and they have different speed limits. They have different like rules for driving. So, I get it. You know, you have to have 2 license plates in some states. So, I mean,
Don't they have a 85 or 90 mile per hour limit now in some areas of Texas where it's really barren out on the highways?
That'd be pretty cool.
yeah, that would be really cool.
I know they were thinking about increasing. Well, they did increase the speed limit on the freeways here in Michigan a few years back.
Yeah, going up 75.
Yeah, and
It's
23
now
too, right?
75.
Yeah, 75 instead of 70.
Yeah, 'cause-
Everyone was always going 75, and the real speed demons would always go 80, 81.
Now we're going 85, 90. It's
Yeah,
great.
Yeah,
People just keep
everyone-
pushing it now.
yes,
Yeah.
people push the 5 limit who are, just the average person, and then riskier people now are pushing to 85 on the freeway. It's
Yep.
crazy. I'll see just like SUVs, family sedans, like just
Casually
regular people.
10, 15 over.
Right, they're just cruising almost 90 miles an hour. I look down and I start slowing down. I'm like, geez, I didn't realize how fast I was going.
I know, you just go with the flow. I mean, if no one's stopping and like you're not sudden stopping, it's really easy to just
Yeah.
kind of travel that way and not dangerously per se, but then suddenly something happens and you got to make a sudden reaction, and that's when bad things happen.
The fastest that I'll usually go, and this is in the like fast lane, is or the passing lane, whatever you want to call it, is like 82, because I know it's like, okay, well, if I
Don't
go,
indict yourself.
if I'm going like 85 plus, more than likely,
This was
like
in Mexico, right?
if oh yeah, if I get radared, I'm probably getting pulled over. But if I go, especially anywhere between like 70 and 79, I feel comfortable doing that to where it's like they're probably not going to pull me over on the freeway for that.
So autonomous vehicles probably obey the speed limit.
Oh yeah, see, honest, I
So
can't.
would you
yeah.
get frustrated with that, sitting in the car knowing that it's going at like maybe exactly 70 or not much over
I
70?
think they're
not.
programmed to go up to like 5 miles per hour over the speed limit to keep up with the pace of traffic.
See,
so you're
yeah.
not like slowing down everyone behind you.
I don't think.
I've never been in one, so that's actually a good question.
I think
I don't
so,
think that
yeah.
I would care
Someone
too
write
much.
us in on Twitter. Tell us.
Especially if like everyone else on the road too had an autonomous vehicle doing the exact same thing, because what that would do if everyone had one, that would prevent slowdowns in traffic to where I would be getting to the destination probably in the same amount of time, if not faster, than having to speed up then slow down and speed up and slow down. You know what I mean?
Do you guys, by any chance, remember the federal program they had going on? It was Cash for Clunkers, where they were basically
I
like
remember somewhat.
they were buying up all these old cars, especially ones that had low emission standards and polluted the environment a lot, and they were giving you basically 3,000, even if it basically didn't run, you could trailer it there as long as it had the chassis and the original engine.
I think I still see billboards for that. Like you can that might be a separate thing where you can donate your car and get the tax write-off for that.
Well,
Yeah,
those,
Yeah, you're talking
still-
about like Purple Heart.
those are
Yeah, you
just
say that all the
charities.
time.
This was a federal program, like how they do the EV incentives.
That class
now.
for clunkers does sound familiar though.
I
like,
think right
Yeah,
when
that was
Obama
in
got first
that was
elected
Obama.
in. Yeah, like 09, like right when a year after he got elected, he started this program. But it was good in terms of the car economy because it got all these people buying new cars.
Right.
Everyone's going out who
And-
had like a 95 Malibu and suddenly they're in like a 2000 9
and
brand
plus,
new one.
even if they didn't, let's say they took that $3,000 and spent it on fucking junk food or what the hell ever, that's still putting money into the economy. So like it's still benefiting.
I think you had to put it towards the car. It was like a voucher.
Like okay, like a stipulation
So
towards
this
that.
now started a
It could
cycle
be a
of
used
people.
car, I think. It didn't just have to be a new car, but
So now that people are in this cycle of like buying cars and everyone's just like leasing new things and like turning in these 2-year-old vehicles that are like not really, worn in any way.
yeah, they still smell new. They're
Yeah,
like, oh,
so it's
time to
like-
get the new model, and
It's like when does it
perfect
reach the
inside.
saturation where we stop buying cars?
That's what the thing is. Like, how long will it really take unless they have some sort of massive government program to try to buy up all the gas and non-autonomous cars?
I feel like that's almost inevitable. Like if
Well,
we
where do they
ac-
get all the money to do that?
well if we actually start
we already have
like
no money.
if we actually do, it's just we're not like the U.S. is the richest country in the world. We have the money. It's just a poor distribution and a poor allocation of where we're putting that money.
Right. I should say at the current ratio we spend it, we don't really have any extra. We blow it all on dumb shit like invading other countries and crazy experiments, making I don't know.
So
I
if
fake
support, I
UFO
support crazy
stories.
experiments though.
So I would.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like crazy
yeah.
experiments.
It's kind of vague, but it's
yeah. Actually,
the
they
generalness
should
of that.
just divert that money from wars and
and put it into that.
yeah, crazy experiments. Do that more. But actually, no, that could rip a hole in the universe or some crazy shit.
I mean, someone's got to do it.
You would have to think like let's say whoever a president in point in future says, okay, we're going to stop putting so much into, let's say, building new tanks, nuclear weapons, shit like that, and divert that into that program that you just mentioned, let's say, to get people into let's say, green cars, I feel like that would be more than enough. Like we'd be able to budget that out like enough to where that would make a lot of sense both for the environment, because we would actually be saving money on fucking healthcare as well too.
So
less shitty air, less people going to
I feel like I
that.
just heard Kevin's platform for his presidential campaign run.
2020. Actually, I'm not even old enough yet. Yeah.
I'd want to know how much it would cost.
I think honestly, it probably would not be cheap, of course, but I think that
They basically are doing that partially with EV incentives now, right? Because that kind of is the incentives, like turn in even your Prius or your regular Civic.
Isn't that expiring though?
They lower it, you know, but there's state incentives too. Like you can get thousands off of.
It's probably one of those things where it's like, what's the cost of not doing it?
Right,
Dead planet.
the environment, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
they're saying if we don't do shit by 2030, that's
Yeah.
basically the turning point. There's no turning back from there.
The economy's
Unless
not
we
really
improve
doesn't seem like it's interested in doing that on like the full scale.
Humans, like we're good at like seeing what's immediately wrong, and maybe like our lifetimes, like maybe our kids' lifetimes if we're lucky, but it's very hard for people to really care what's going to happen in like 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, if not more. So I feel like it's going to take something dramatic for people to start caring about, or more people to start caring about climate change.
I think more people do care in this day and age.
Oh, for
just
sure.
Because we have things like social media. I think that's one of the best things is you see
It's
all
the most
these,
talked about now than it's ever been, for sure.
Right, like you see all these, you know, obviously shitty, stupid things come out of social media and people hating each other and who knows what else. But then you see, you know, even though some people get pissed off about like the straws at Starbucks, those to save turtles, all
Right.
because of a video someone posted on Twitter.
But
You
hey,
know, and suddenly all these states are banning straws and people are, you know, removing them from their shops.
but hey, no, I
It's
mean,
good.
it's a good thing.
That's
So
what I'm
I
saying,
get it.
yeah.
Like,
So I think, you know, you see people exposing farms for like kicking cows and doing a bunch of messed up
tipping
shit.
cows. And,
Yeah.
Oh, horrible.
I saw this thing on Instagram the other day that had me so pissed off. It was some like vegan page, you know, which would probably make some people just skip over. I think it was some propaganda thing, but it was actual video of this supposed natural and like caring farm. I think there was Pepsi owned. I don't want to throw them under the bus. If it was a different.
But you
like,
just did.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what it was honestly, but these farmers were basically like throwing calves into trucks like they were just like a sandbag. They were kicking them in the face.
oh yeah, they're just cogs. Yeah.
Yeah, and they weren't even, you know, on the way to be slaughtered. They were dairy cows. They were just like young, you know, small ones. They would just like, they'd be like squirming and they would just like throw it up against a fence for no reason. It had me so angry. I was just like, good thing I don't drink milk. They hadn't
Damn.
even.
I've never been to that part of
I'm very-
Instagram, but I'm
Think of
kind
it-
of glad.
I'll
Think of
send
it
it
this
to you.
way.
I'll make you
I
angry.
don't, oh no.
Like, let's say
hard pass.
let's say your job all day was to
Let's
move.
go down there and paintball them.
Paintball 'em? Wow. Okay, I'll sign me up for that.
Let's say your job was to move like bricks all day. Obviously, you see a brick, you just throw it because it's like I have to do this all day. You know, you have no sort of attachment to this brick. Eventually, let's say your job is to start corralling all of these, you know, cattle. When you first start, you probably be like, oh, just get in there, get in there. But after like probably 3 years, probably like, get the fuck in there. You're just throwing the animals in there.
I don't
So-
know.
I
don't
man.
know,
That'd be
maybe
like if
get a
I was a
different
dog
job, you
trainer.
know?
Like, yeah. That'd be like, it's not all of a sudden like I'm just gonna...
That see, but I would say like a dog trainer. That's a little bit different because that's a lot more personal. You can't you have to. There's a certain skill set with that.
I don't
But
know,
just
man.
like
When you see a cow, it's pretty majestic in a way. Like when you look at them, you're like, "Fuck!" It looks kind of like it has.
But see,
like,
no,
the same
no.
aura as like a dog does when you look at it.
that's what I'm saying. Like when you first start that job, you'll probably be thinking that way. But after so many years of just literally your job is to get as many of these cattle, chicken, whatever, in this vehicle as quickly as possible, you're gonna stop giving a fuck. You're gonna be like, these are just chickens. I'm gonna just fucking throw them in there.
I disagree. I think everyone just falls to this, and that's just human nature to just throw cows.
Humans
and shit.
suck. Yeah, dude. Of course.
Dude, I disagree. I feel like most people wouldn't be throwing calves of cows
Well,
into
most
trucks
people
like that.
most people wouldn't take that job, but the person who takes that job
You nailed
probably
it, Kevin.
eventually would probably like stop giving a fuck.
I'm on Kevin's
There's
page.
probably
Yeah.
like, I feel like there's probably some like dairy farmer listening right now who doesn't throw cows.
Oh, I'm
It's
sure
just
there
like,
is. And
Screw you.
Those are the good ones. I'm not saying everyone does
That's
it,
what
but
that's
There's
what I thought
always
you were saying.
like the industrial scale
Yeah.
stuff like that. It's so different
That's
than
what I said. There's
you
no
know,
way every
small
single
farm.
person working that job is like a dick,
Mm-mm.
right? There's no way.
no. I'm talking about like the big like 100% like farm factories that you
Right,
see
right.
out there, not
Well,
like
that-
the mom and pop farm that you got a couple cows in here. You know,
I actually saw an interesting post on Reddit how years ago, like growing meat in the lab grown meat was, you know, very very expensive, like outlandish amount of money, and then now it's just like a couple bucks.
Actually,
and like
I
now
heard
you're
about
gonna
that,
start,
yeah.
you know, being able to buy it in certain places.
I remember seeing that because the burger originally was $330,000 to produce, and they were saying that it can be served for like $11 now. What the fuck?
It's crazy.
That's
The,
such in such a small time.
It's like TVs, you know. You'll see like back in even 2012, a like 80-inch TV would be like 50 grand or some outlandish amount of money. Now you can go get a 75-inch for like
Yep.
$1,000 at Costco. How does that make sense?
I can't wait to get my
feel so
autonomous
pissed.
vehicle to take me to the drive-thru to get my lab-grown hamburgers and fake fries.
Dude, Burger King has a test of them going on right now, and I think
Oh, God.
I think KFC it was. They have an option to get like a mix of like half like
Fake
plant
meat?
and yeah.
Oh,
it's,
God.
it's like a reducitarian they call it, like using less meat.
But I wonder, so because you know how if you go to like let's say Kroger's and get like a bag of like chicken strips, that chicken that's not as like good as chicken as just like you. Let's say you go to a farm and you pull a chicken off the fucking farm and eat
Oh
that.
yeah.
So the
Depending
meat
if it's
that
like organic or regular from like some unknown farm, yeah.
the meat that quote unquote meat that is going to be in the future produced at you know these scales. I wonder if that meat's going to be as healthy as just like just a regular farm grown cow. Let's say like take a burger from a regular farm grown cow here, it had a good life. It wasn't tipped, you know, it wasn't beaten.
That's the
you
thing
know.
is-
Never once.
Humans love new shit. Like we love something cool and new coming out. We never think about the repercussions till later.
But I wonder if it's gonna be healthy meat.
The
I'll be-
people who
yeah.
are
That's
what I'm
designing
saying.
this, I feel like they would have to take that into consideration, because if you don't, it's probably not going to go anywhere. And there is the, you know,
But they don't. What if it's like a long
FDA
term
in America. Well,
Like they just want to sell. They don't give a fuck. But what if in 20 years everyone who
but
eats
the
like
Food and
lab-grown
Drug
meat
Administration.
gets,
But dude,
like, blood cancer or
the
something?
FDA in the U.S. is, I guess, not even as like crazy because you go over to Europe and like a lot of the food that we clear over here, they won't
It's
fucking
like
clear
not
over
cool.
there.
Well, I gotta just trust in the institutions to protect me from the fake scary lab meat.
Go get like
Hopefully.
any like for some reason chocolate bars a lot of the time seem to have this type of packaging on the back. But if you look, sometimes you'll see like U.S. and Canada or just U.S. and then like rest of the world, and there'll be a completely different ingredient list on the same item. You know, like
Cannot
when you
say
look
I've
it
seen
up
that.
online.
Yeah,
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's really strange.
because I mean, a lot. I think we were talking about this before. Like you'll see in Europe, my theory on as to why they have higher standards for their food is because when you give your population shitty food, they're going to be going to the hospital more. And places in Europe, they've got just free healthcare, well, universal healthcare through paying taxes and all that shit.
So this is an overall larger conspiracy.
So no, but what I'm saying is it'll cost the government less to feed their population healthier food because they're going to be the ones paying for their healthcare anyways. So they have an incentive to give their population good food. Whereas over here, like we don't have universal healthcare, so who the fuck cares what we eat? Just give them whatever, to a point.
I mean, I think it's just the generalness of America has turned into like a population of convenience. It's all about like what's the most convenient thing,
No, 100. I mean, you see that everywhere, from like food to grocery shopping. Like you see, like let's say, like pick Walmart. Like Walmart's huge over here, but a lot of places. Is Walmart really around in like Germany or
That's
like
a U.S. thing for
yeah.
sure. No, yeah, I've never heard of a Walmart in like.
Actually, no, I remember. I forgot
France.
what the country was, but it was some European country. They started a Walmart over there, and you know how it's like 24 hours, like for the most part over here. They tried to start like a 24-hour Walmart in this European country, and it didn't do well at all because like no one ever was working 24 hours.
Yeah.
So they're like, fuck this, I'm not going to work at like 3 a.m.
No one's here. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a waste of time.
So they tanked. But
Actually, it doesn't sound too bad. Just check into work in Walmart at 2 a.m. in some random country, and you just get paid to do nothing. And just bring a laptop and just play a game.
I don't know, but what if you have that stickler manager who is like, you got to clean these corners, son, and
I
then
would hope they would
it's
do
like
that.
these corners.
you're not playing Minesweeper tonight.
I'd hope they would be on board. Be like, well, listen, no one's coming in the store, so nothing's really getting dirty or like messed up. Let's just chill and let the morning crew handle everything.
I can only imagine because, like, as you guys know, like, I mean, you used to as well too, Mike. I used to work at Target, and even over here, even when there was like shit to do, I wasn't doing anything. I would find any excuse I can not to work. I'd hide in the
Just,
bathroom.
like, wander.
Dude,
I'd fucking hide up
hiding
on stairs. Like I
would definitely wander when I was at the car dealership that I was working at. Just like walk around the back lot. You know, sometimes you get in a truck and you just kind of like sit and kick back, get on your
Take
phone.
a nap.
Oh, we had this van one time. You know, like with the like, it had the N64 hookup. It was one of those.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Dude,
Fantastic. I definitely sat in that thing for a while and just like fucked around. And
Your boss is like, "Where's Kyle? It's been like 3 hours."
one time I was working at Target,
it's a long
and
walk.
I was trying to use the restroom, take care of business. I was playing like a Game Boy emulator, scrolling Reddit, and my legs were like going numb. I was sitting there for like 20 minutes, and they started calling back room, need an item pulled, and I was just ignoring it. And then out of nowhere, I just heard a loud, thunderous knock at the door, and I made no movements. I sat completely silent instead of saying anything, and just waited. And they knocked again, said nothing, and then I turned my radio off so it wouldn't
Oh my god.
make any noise.
Yeah. That was the worst.
That was
I
very
waited
tense.
it out, and then like for a while I could hear they didn't walk that far away, and I was just listening, and eventually they walked, and I heard the doors closed, and I snuck out like a ninja.
See, when you got out, they didn't, you know, like sneak up from behind and like.
Yeah, they're like, "Where were you?" And I was like, "I was upstairs. I was on break or some shit."
I was helping a customer take a TV to their car.
I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, I made up whatever. I lied straight up. I probably
Classic.
said my walkie was out of battery
Dude,
or
I
some
remember
white lie.
all the time. So our old boss, shout out to Joelle. She was a very sweet lady.
Yeah,
I remember
shout-outs to Joel.
because I'm the one who was like, hey, just hire my buddy Mike. He's looking for a job too, and they like my work. So like, okay, well, of course, you know, bring on Mike. And I remember so many times. I don't think I ever told you, but the boss that I was telling you about, Joelle, she would pull me to the side and be like, Kevin, because she was so sweet. She didn't want to be mean to him. She was like,
Oh no!
she was
I
like,
thought this was going the other way.
no, she was like, Kevin, can you tell Mike to like pick up the pace and like
Motivate him?
Yeah, do his job more. I'm like I can't like
Dude, you ever see Snoop Dogg go to accept
Wow.
like a Grammy on stage when he's like walking slow as fuck up the stairs and taking his time? That would be like the pace I would be working at.
like
Target.
no, like
I'm with you on that, Mike.
I'd be like,
Mike would be
slowly-
slow as fuck. Let's be honest. He'd
I don't
be slow
think
as
I
fuck
could
at his
care
job.
about that job.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean I get
was,
it. Yeah.
I was efficient. I did things.
Fuck no, you were not efficient.
Oh, called out.
Yeah, no, he was not efficient. He did the work just slowly. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I did it right. I didn't like necessarily pull any wrong items. I just did it slowly.
But yeah, no, that was funny because she would always pull me aside and be like, Kevin, Mike's really slow with his batches.
She said it to me like once or twice. She's like, you need to pick up the pace just a little bit. Or someone else said that to me, and I was like, okay.
So the question is, did you leave the job or get fired?
I left.
Okay, that's
yeah,
good. Yeah,
I was
show them
working
what's
two
what.
jobs for a while, and I didn't really see Target as the future path compared to my
Yeah,
internship. So I quit Target and went
Yeah.
for it.
No, same here. I mean, as soon as I got an opportunity to leave, I was going. You know, I tried to go back, and they didn't want me. It was a whole thing. But let's not focus on that.
It's a great feeling going into a workplace when you have complete leverage over not caring if you're there.
Yeah.
Like if you have a second job already, or some other,
And you don't
won
need
the
both.
lotto, whatever it may be. They suddenly
That'd be
lost
nice,
all
honestly.
control over you, so you can just be completely open and not be scared to voice your opinion on things.
If
I'm
I-
not saying go in there and be a dick to everyone, but
If I were to go
Be
back
more
now,
free.
or if you were to go back to your car dealership with the same mentality as, okay, well, let's say you still had your job now and you were just going there for a couple hours a week just to, like,
Oh,
make,
God, no.
make a couple extra bucks. You probably wouldn't, but let's just say that was the situation. I was going back to Target to do the same situation, or you were. We would care, just like Mike said, we would care, like, a lot less, and we would be a lot more open about, hey, calm the fuck down. Like, I'm doing my job as fast as I can. Like, you wouldn't be afraid to, stand up for yourself a little bit more.
at this point in life, as long as I wasn't being ridiculously slow, assuming I was back working at Target right now, and someone was like, "Hey man, pick up the pace," and they're just a try hard, like a bandana on in the back, like running around, like sprinting to get items, I would just feel like, slow down. I would go opposite way. I would tell them to slow down.
When I first started working there, because that was like my first like real job, I was that guy. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. But as time went
Yeah.
on, it's like,
Yeah, your level of
anymore.
flux is like,
Especially like going to
depleted.
school too. You're thinking, I'm not going to be here forever. You know, I got
Yeah,
I got bigger
definitely
plans than this.
Kills the motivation.
I was like, for example, there's a few times I'd be leaving work or going on lunch already, like I was clocked out, so time was ticking, and a customer would try to grab me and be like, "Excuse me, like, do you know where I can?" And I would
You're
just
like,
cut them off and be like,
mm.
I'd be like, "I'm sorry, I'm like, I don't actually work right now, but so and so over there can help you," and I would always be very nice and direct them to someone else. But
So it's
I would
basically
never-
like, I don't give a fuck.
My favorite
I'm
thing
checked out right now.
would be when they would say, "Hey, if you guys ever find any sort of like money, like cash on the ground, turn it in." And I remember one day they said that to me, and that same week on one day I found $15, a $10 bill and a $5 bill. I put it in my pocket as I left.
Yeah, can you imagine if we were like pulling an item way
I was-
back in like the clothing aisle where it was like a dungeon, like, you know, because it was basically made a cave out of clothes. You know, there'd be racks and racks, like 5 levels up of shirts and pants hanging. You know, all in like they basically be stuffing
sounds like a
out
nightmare,
of these
honestly.
boxes. Yeah. So, you know, you'd have like
That's crazy.
50 t-shirts in a box, so they'd be like puffing out the side. So it was hard to like get through the aisle. It would brush against your shoulders. And
Is this
so
like a fun
hypothetically,
house?
yeah, it basically feels like a fun house. So yeah, if you just like in the very back corner just found like $1,500 in 20s, I'd be like, I'm not telling my boss.
Whoa. That's a lot of money.
What I'll say though, okay, so let's say I found like $100 bill in the back room. I'd feel a little bit bad. I probably wouldn't take that only because that's probably one of my coworkers' money.
Do you know what I do?
But if I found it on the floor, I'd be like, dude, fuck you, you're lost.
I'd probably take it and just hold on to it. And if anyone said something, you know,
do you know what I
give
do?
it back. But
I leave a cryptic message in the break room.
You suck,
No,
lol.
I would just write like
I found $100, fuck you.
I would just write like back left cozy 1500 with like, you know, like a smiley face. And if someone was like,
Right.
I was going to be like, someone left $1,500 here. This is awesome.
right, it's like
I
a
wouldn't
treasure
write
map.
dollars,
Now,
yeah.
just
now they're
number
looking
50.
for it.
Someone would be like, is this an address? What does this mean? Is this a map to money?
Suddenly the FBI
So actually-
comes to your office because they think it's a bound threat.
Yeah, but if someone knew what it
It's
was,
like a
I'd give
ransom.
them back the cash for sure.
Their back room was actually like really efficient. Like the cubbies that Mike was talking about, each one had like a certain like scannable location with certain scannable items in there. So you knew like if someone was like, "Hey, do you have this item in the back room?" You'd be able to tell if you did and exactly where it was. So you could leave
Very
that like
convenient.
scanned message on the like a table in the break room, be like this location, but not say anything with it, and then those in the know would know. Okay, let me go check here.
Dude, I would burn batches so
Cryptic.
hard there.
Oh fuck yeah, same here.
I would see like a 50 batch load for the hour in like every department. I would just be like a hacker, just tap 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 tap,
So-
just backstocking every fucking item.
For people who
possible.
don't know, like what
Yeah, I'm definitely lost.
what a batch is
I'm
from.
glad we can say this when we
Yeah.
don't work here because you'd probably get fired from Target.
Oh yeah. So from the hours, I think it was from like.
because this is getting deep.
Yeah, I'm probably
So I hope there's
blacklisted
no-
for saying this now.
I hope there's
So-
no Target shills. You know,
So I think it was from the hours of like 11 a.m. and they stopped at like 5 p.m. something like that. Every hour on the hour in our system there was a certain amount of items of different varieties that we needed to pull out of the back room so they can go onto the sales floor. So like there'd be like 15 shirts, 20 bags of chicken, and you know so on and so on. And what burning a batch would be is we would say that we're taking the item out of stock, saying, "Oh yeah, we're taking this and putting it on the sales floor," but actually just like not. We'll take it out and put it
God.
like right back in there. So it's like less than half, like it's a fraction of the work for the employee doing the work because who the fuck wants to work?
It's no
You know?
work. It's like you're converting physical labor into like a hacker scenario.
like
Just
yeah,
type in a few commands.
computerized check mark that I did this.
Yeah, it's like basically if you had a to-do list item that required you like moving an item and like running / walking a certain amount of distance, or you could just like hack and just check it as done. It's basically doing
Yeah.
that.
But what if you needed those things
Well,
on
he-
the floor?
So, but that happened a lot, and
here.
yeah.
So you guys got in trouble a lot.
They could tell when we would do it in the system because like they would never show us the reports,
They
but
could see the the backstock, like, you know how many.
So how'd you ever get away with it?
Because they couldn't really precisely put like a finger
an,
on what
an
we
exact
were doing.
user on who was doing it because there would be multiple people working in the back room with multiple. No one had their own like.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that makes
If
more
we had our
sense.
assigned like scanner gun, they would definitely be able to track us down. But it was basically like, you know, Ghost in the Machine. They couldn't find us. We were just like
Yeah, you just burn a couple here and there. You're not burning all of them, right?
Well, here-
But like,
Yeah.
It got to a point where I just stopped giving a fuck, and I was like, I'm not pulling anything anymore. I'm done, guys.
Okay, maybe I had like a bad
Ooh.
night or two where I literally pulled none. But overall, I would actually pull things that seemed somewhat important. Like if I noticed there was like no Gatorades when I walked by and it said to pull Gatorades, I'd go stock the shelf. But
Or like if a brand new Call of Duty game came out, and I know that's like fucking selling, it's like, okay, I'll probably pull that because that's probably
Definitely.
empty out on the floor.
yeah, like around the
Yeah,
holidays, like
yeah.
Nerf guns and stuff will pop out. You're like, I gotta stock this for the kids. But like certain things
for the
that-
kids.
No,
Do it
no,
for the kids.
It sounds ridiculous making these like decisions, but you're so busy, you're like sweating trying to make these time limits. So they made it like a game. You had an hour. It would start ticking. You had to pull these certain amount of items, or you basically got
Wow.
like dinged for the day. Then they would show up
Yeah.
on your report.
So that's like
It was
so
like
many levels
Amazon Lite.
higher than like I worked at a restaurant, and I'm like comparing it to that where like it was like a game, trying to make pizza and keep all the orders straight and
Yeah.
time everything right.
Like no,
It was
it's-
it was a lot of fun in a weird way.
Let me break down a scenario for you that would be a stressful backroom night. Busy day at Target, tons of people everywhere, and you suddenly realize that you need to pull like 50 items from cosmetics. Now, cosmetics
Oh,
is
no.
a
Oh,
my
separate
God.
room from the normal back room, which is nice and airy. You can drive the wave machine, this badass little like alien front loader thing.
it can go up like 15 feet in the air. It's really cool.
So I forgot what exactly it's connected to. Some sort of like industrial shit, like piping is in the next room to it, and this room's really hot and stuffy and cramped. And you have to go up on a ladder that's really rickety, and it'll be like pull
Very
25
sketchy.
things of mascara. And you have to like look through the bin and find the right fucking kind, and you're in there just dripping sweat trying to like get all this makeup. It's all like things you would find in the
makeup section.
like shampoos, soaps, anything.
I feel like
You know,
Indiana Jones sliding down the railing.
the amount
As
of
someone-
shavers I pulled, like either electric or manual, ridiculous. So many electric shavers were bought there.
As someone who does not, I don't think you wear makeup, so I
That's
would
for a
assume
later
I would
discussion, not on the podcast.
So I would assume that you
go
don't
with
that
no.
you do not go and purchase items in that section of Target. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you know how difficult it would be if Emily was like, "Hey Kyle, go and find me this certain mascara." You would be sweating trying to find the fucking little section and everything.
yeah.
It was that, except 5 times worse trying to take it out of the back room.
Oh my god.
There were just some unpleasant situations
Anxiety
too. Like
just thinking about it.
so, picture like 10 people in the feminine products aisle, and you suddenly need to go pull a bunch of pads and shit like that, and you have to be like, excuse me, and like people are trying to grab stuff, and you're trying to like stock the shelves with all this
Oh,
stuff.
no.
It's not fun, when it's busy. When there's no one at the store, it was kind of relaxing. You could like listen to headphones and
The worst
I guess
is
I've-
when people would ask you for shit. It's like, "Hey, do you have this in stock?" It's like, "I don't know, bitch. Look." Like I wanted to say that so many fucking times.
Especially when it's something really obscure, like, do you have like this certain scent of like Head and Shoulders? And like, I don't know, man, check that out.
Do you know?
I don't know what flavors we got. Sorry,
Yeah.
buddy.
Do you know what's great? So on
Coke or Pepsi?
on the little device
So
that
good.
I said that we had that would like scan items out of the back room. That item, if we scanned something on the floor, it would also tell us if other Target stores in the area had them.
That's
So
actually super cool.
it was a really cool tool because let's say if a customer asks, "Hey, do you have this item?" and we say no, but let me check another store for you, instead of having to get on the phone and fucking call people and go through the ringer.
Damn.
But if a customer was ever rude to me, they were like, "Hey,"
Just like, nope.
they were being an asshole. I would do either one of two things. I would say, we don't have it here, but this store has it. When in reality they had none. I could clearly see it has none on there, and I would send it to a fucking store like 30 miles away. Just
Oh my
Damn.
god!
I have done that before.
Dude,
I have done
that's
that
a
before.
savage
Wow,
move.
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
I don't know if I've
Fucking-
done something that mean to a customer.
Look,
Excuse me.
well, that should have taught that person a lesson in life. Do not fuck with anyone in the service industry, because
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean,
I had some real assholes come up to me when I worked at Target too. Like, you'd just be trying to stock shelves, and we weren't floor people, so we weren't supposed to necessarily be like super nice and help people. Like, we were just
Yeah.
there with like,
we were the
Right.
backroom gremlins.
yeah, we would just stock shelves. We'd always have carts with us. We weren't the people who were like, "Do you need help with anything?"
We
And,
never ran up and to the cashiers and like started ringing people up. Like I would always laugh when people would be calling, "Hey, back up to the front." I'm just like walking by laughing, going up to the fucking break room. Like, "Oh, you guys got this."
I'll never forget. I won't name her, to release her identity. But this person I went to high school with, her mom was in Target, and I ran into her. She was there with her mom, I'm pretty sure, just standing off to the side.
We're going deep into
And,
Target stories, Lair.
I know, it's fun thinking about retail shit sometimes. But anyway, she was looking for a water bottle in a different color than the ones on the shelves, and it was coming up as basically the same item under like assorted, so I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm like, it says there's some in the back, but you know, and she basically cut me off and was just like, why can't you figure it out? She's like, just look it up in the thing. And I was just like, it was like 30 to 40 minutes before store closed, like 9:20 at night. I'm like, this bitch. I'm like,
Definitely
like,
changed your perception.
Yeah, I was just like, I didn't really think too highly of her daughter. I'm like, she gets it from her. Okay.
You know what was also fun too? Let's say if someone asked, hey, very rudely, do you have this certain item in the back? What I would do is I would be like, let me go and check, and I would spend like 20 minutes back there, just
come back,
just chilling out, just to make them wait. And then I would come back out after like 20 minutes and be like, oh, sorry, we don't have any back here. I was looking so hard for it as I'm just doing my regular job. I'm like, oh yeah, let me go back out
doing
there.
the rest. Oh my God, Kevin.
Which before I close
work
out
in
my
retail
story,
and you'll get it.
I mean, yeah,
I
food
seem
service
to-
is definitely way different.
I just need to add to my story before I just end it that I started off that encounter super nice. You know, like, hey, how can I help you? Just trying to be nice to a customer.
Right.
And she was just like, look this up for me. Like, I remember she didn't even say any sort of greeting like, hey, or how are you? Just like, you know, look this up. And then getting pissed at me when I couldn't look it up quick enough on this damn, like, Microsoft 95 tablet
Yeah,
thing.
sometimes it would run slow as shit.
Yeah, it would just be like loading, because it ran off some weird, like, Wi-Fi type network, you know, on a private
Internal
channel.
network.
Yeah, just in the store. And sometimes they had bad reception. It would just load forever, you know, if you're in the corner. And people would get pissed off when it was saying forever. It's like, I can't speed up the internet.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Sometimes the system was
intranet.
down.
Oh, it's so awkward at work when our support line gets calls and then they're like, I'm so sorry, guys, the internet's bad. And it's like, our office internet does really suck sometimes.
It's like, but
it's
you can't do
awkward.
anything about that.
Right, yeah, but, you know, you get someone upset on the phone and they're like, you know,
They don't
figure
give a
this
fuck.
out. Yeah, they definitely don't care.
They won't care if there's an active fucking shooter situation going on. They're like, I want my stuff fixed.
It's extremely awkward when it's the reverse scenario because sometimes people will have intermittent network issues on their side,
their end.
and then they're calling us and we're like, it's fine over here, sorry guys, and it's like, we don't know what to tell you, but obviously you're upset that it's not working the way you want it, you know.
Right, it's like, but when in reality you want to be like, go get your own shit fixed.
Pretty much.
I don't get why people get so rowdy and like wound up at each other. You know, not even necessarily in the same jobs. Like in these situations,
We're all
like
just trying to help
retail.
each other, man. It's the same, you know, same planet, same, you know,
Right, like I'm
one,
sure that
one love
lady,
kind of
like,
mindset.
I'm sure, you know, like most people like have worked in some sort of service job or some sort of, you know, like labor job at some point. I don't get what switch flips in their head where they suddenly start treating them like slaves or some shit. You know, like, give me this. or,
I feel like
stop
it's
saying- like,
usually the people
now.
who don't work in those, who have never like been in those positions to where, look, I mean, that time away from it, yes, it will play a factor, but I think a lot of people just haven't been in a position to where they're the ones who have to help people.
right.
Whether that's a service job or even if like they were never a fucking nurse or anything like that, they just, in whatever the profession was, they didn't have to actually interact and help people.
I don't even know if
That
they have to
was
go as far as
very
being
Or volunteer their
Yeah.
time, shit like that.
even doing something like washing dishes. I mean, shit, that just shows you like how much work it is for that amount of money. You know, I don't know how you could be mean to anyone, like a gas station worker, like
For
someone
sure,
serving
yeah.
you sushi, anything. Like, you know,
Definitely
they're
not
like
the
working
sushi guy.
hard.
Unless if they're just like a straight up dick to you for like no reason, like just as on a human level, you know, it's like, okay, well, fuck you too.
And I'm
But-
not going to tip the cashier then.
One thing I have a hard rule about this. If I were to say go out on a date with a lady and she is the type of person that doesn't say thank you and like ignores the waiter and waitress, you know, like
Yeah,
they
it's
bring your
fucked up.
stuff and they just don't even like regard them, like they're just some robot bringing the shit.
Thank you, food.
You know
food
what?
Human robot.
You just hear, and that's my car door closing, and then it's zoop, gone.
Exit.
Yeah, that's the end of that.
I mean, you can tell a lot about people how they treat anyone in the service industry. You
That really
can.
bothers
That's a good
me.
point,
Like
for sure.
Even just like if you go out to eat with, you know, a group of people, maybe people you haven't really met before, and you notice like some of them are kind of dicks to the waiter or wait staff, anything like that. It really like changes my perception of that person, because you see how they treat someone who they perceive for some reason as like lower than them. They make more money. I don't know. It's weird. We all know these struggles. It's weird to hate on other people for no reason.
That is accurate.
Kind of switch of topic, but I'm usually not the one to.
Yeah, we pontificated about the Target for a while. Led into some interesting thoughts.
I'm usually
Retail.
not the one to hate on people, but it's getting increasingly just by the level of stupidity and just lack of just knowing what the fuck is up. I'm getting more and more frustrated with people who are like anti-vaxxers.
Oh yeah, that was another subject you wanted to bring up. We feel like we all had our our own ideas of what we wanted, but wanted to talk about. And I'm not sure how much longer you guys want to continue on here.
We can wrap it up here in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love people in general. I love humanity, the thought of everyone working together. But individual small things like someone driving 10 under the speed limit, mad. Someone posting like anti-vax stuff, mad. Again.
Angry.
Yeah. But, it's little bits. Like, I don't think about it all day. But things like that piss me off in the moment a little bit. But I have, in general, just a positive thought. I think we're headed in the right direction.
I would say so, but like there are certain things that I can let bygones be bygones. It's like some things that okay, people are just gonna argue about it no matter what. But when it comes to like just our society's health, anti-vaxxers, that's just so stupid to me. Like I
don't get it.
It's
Ken was probably driving on the way
Gotta
over.
agree with you.
He's like, I'm gonna close with that bygone.
Just
shit.
triggered. Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't sleep on that line, guys.
no, because you got to think like who are the celebrities that were big on that now that
Anti-vax?
CC
Yeah.
Sabathia.
Oh gosh, I don't know. I try to ignore the people that talk
the,
about that stuff.
the one
and
that was in the
support
news
it.
recently, the one chick.
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel, yeah, and I just found out she was married to Justin Timberlake.
Oh no, is he a part of that too? He's such a good guy. Oh no.
I would have to guess that just by association, he's probably like he probably at least listens to like what she says about it.
Yeah, major disappointment.
regularly.
I mean, if you're married, suppose there's some level of support-ish. Maybe I don't know.
But here's the thing, just like how we were talking about earlier, how humans don't have that forethought of more than their lives and maybe their kids' lives. They can see, okay, because there are people out there because of herd immunity, like, you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
because of herd immunity, if one person does not get vaccinated, okay, like, they will usually be, fine throughout their lives. But when those people get other people to start doing it, all that does is just make everyone more vulnerable to these fucking, diseases.
We're going on a trip here soon. What if we are those people and we bring some deadly disease over to, Colorado and we just infect all these people and then they're not vaccinated and sorry guys, but I'm vaccinated, so I'm gonna be fine, but maybe not these other people.
It can get meta though in the way that the people who are anti-vax can get so into the anti-vax, like they get obsessed with that topic to that's all you think about. And you think
So
that's
just
like
like
the main thing in
pro-vax.
the world. Like when there's so many other things going on.
Oh, yeah, no, look.
There's some people who spend all their time promoting that shit and thinking about it.
It's a balancing act with putting energy towards certain causes because obviously if you put your one thought process into anything, whether that's being anti-vax, being
Also
Could
pro-vax.
you close the door wall?
pro-vax, let's say being super into fucking cheeseburgers, super into weed, super into whatever.
You
I'm
probably
like
shouldn't be
I'm like
super-
I'm like all of these things, especially the whatever one.
That's
You
too,
probably
that-
shouldn't be super into cheeseburgers though.
that's putting too much focus
Just
into
be
one
into
thing,
it.
but I feel like it's important just to be conscious about what's happening in the world around you.
You have to be conscious of it, but I feel like you see all the time people who are just angry 100% of the time. Like when they have those 50 tweet threads where they keep replying to their same thought and chaining it and just ranting, and every day they have those. It's like, go outside.
That's
We've
so-
talked about it so many
yeah.
times on this podcast, but
You
just
mentioned
do something positive for once, God.
so like the people who don't ever or have never worked in service industries kind of like treat those people not all the time but sometimes worse in general. It's kind of the parallel to, I think that if you don't travel a lot, the way you see the world might be a little warped and kind of stuck in your small little inner circle bubble of whatever section of the world you're in.
honestly, I can 100% agree with that because for the longest time, I would look at Detroit, the city that we live in, as okay, like this city is not cool. The city's boring. I want to go out and see other cities. But after going to Seattle, Toronto, and other big cities, I really like Detroit. So
Well, it's also been built
I
up
have to
this
agree
way
with
the
you.
kids too, for the most part.
Oh,
but
yeah.
what I'm saying
Detroit's
is,
pretty legit.
you
We
wouldn't
get
like.
like
I
stabbed
wouldn't.
outside Comerica when we were younger if you went too far away from the stadium. Now it's like party down there.
But what I'm saying is,
yeah.
I wouldn't have like been able to consciously realize that for myself had I not gone and traveled to other
Now you have
places
a frame
and
of
experienced new.
reference.
Exactly.
You can compare other places, and it's you can't unsee that or unthink it. I guess.
remember like 5 years ago even Detroit was still on the up and up already, but I was within sight of Comerica and I was walking to my car and there was a brawl outside a deli. There was like 50
That's
people.
pretty cool.
And like pushing each
Yeah,
other
to
into
take
the
pictures?
glass.
I thought I
And,
saw a robbery in Dearborn at one time. I believe it was. I don't know. Maybe I was too little and I was misremembering.
Well, there was a guy above me, anyways, on this balcony, and I was just mesmerized by the fight, watching it, because everyone's just like pushing each other and punching, and this guy above me just started yelling, "They gonna start shooting!"
I saw
And
someone
I'm
get shot.
like,
in
no.
Detroit
I'm like,
once.
does he see something for sure? But I'm like, I'm not gonna risk it. Out of nowhere.
I mean, you definitely don't take those words,
No, I saw someone get
Yeah.
shot in Detroit
He
once.
said, like,
I was a
3
kid.
times.
Yeah,
Shit.
I was a kid.
yeah.
I-
Once he says some shit like 5 times, like over in a
Yeah.
row, like they gonna start shooting. He just keeps saying it. Like, you better move. It's probably a bad sign.
Yeah, he meant it at least the second, third, and fourth.
And the most badass part of it that just seems to make no sense, I don't even know where this guy came from, is this gigantic hulking security man out of nowhere
I
ran
love
up and was just like, "Come on, I'm gonna get you to your car." I'm like, "Am I in a movie?" And you just like led us to our car.
For a moment, you were.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's actually really, really cool. I
Yeah,
think
no-
the story.
Yeah, back when we were younger, like it was a lot more common to see just crazy shit happen in Detroit. Like I think I was probably like 10 to 12 years old. I was with my old friend. Shout out to Gerald and his mom
Shout out.
at the DIA.
Yeah, shout out to Gerald. It's been a long time.
And Cedar, his mom. There was this like slavery exhibit going on at the DIA, and his mom took us there. So as we're leaving, we're walking out, let's just like the back entrance or whatever entrance, and this is in the middle of the fucking day. We just hear like pop, 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 and then like we don't know what's going on. So like
Right. You think it might be what you thought it is, but you're not sure if you thought it was what it is.
You never
we-
know when, in fact, they are gonna start shooting.
we just keep walking, and this dude, and we could tell because this dude got off the ground. He had on a white shirt, and it had red holes all in it.
Oh,
And
no.
we see him fucking walk. He was still walking away. He was probably in fucking shock. And then like the security from the place was like rushing everyone back, like get back in. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
And
I
he's
went-
just like, "What? Yo, I'm fine. It's just a T-shirt. I have a limp."
and
Damn,
they,
Kevin, that's a crazy story. I've known you for I don't even know
Yeah.
how many years at this
Yeah,
point.
you never told me a guy got shot and you saw him.
You've known this guy for even longer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
what?
he's
I
never
I mean,
heard
I
this
probably
story?
told you at the time.
Maybe I forgot
yeah.
a long time
Oh
ago.
my
But-
god, I feel like I would remember that.
But yeah, no,
Maybe not, but I don't know.
Thankfully, that was the only situation like that
Yeah.
I was ever like close to. But they kept us in the like lobby area for like I think half an hour, 45 minutes. So like the cops came and like everything situated out there. Like okay, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys like should probably like you guys are cool now. But I
Don't
was like,
necessarily send a chopper out and 50 cop cars, even though after they got everyone.
Oh, a day in Detroit just to have fun, bust out the chopper.
but
They probably brought out the tank. Screw it.
shit
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, I would be shocked to see anything crazy like that. I mean, look, shit can still happen, but like,
What about the,
less likely now?
Do you remember we went down to Hamtramck for a soccer game 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Mhm.
The Detroit Soccer Club plays there, the football club. And there was a cop, they close off the street so people can walk to the game. And he had a military Hummer, like Humvee.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It had Hamtramck police on it. It was all
Wow,
blacked
they're
out. It
straight
looks-
up like don't try shit, guys.
Yeah, if I had the video, I'll post it on Twitter. It was pretty badass. It looked straight out of Batman. It was very menacing.
That's a. I
There's
know.
a
I know
road
we were
flare, too, to
gonna.
add to the effect.
Nice. I know we were gonna wrap it up soonish, but
Yeah, Kyle's
that's
about
a
to
whole.
eat the mic.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, but
He's
that's
got
like a
wings
whole,
sitting over
yeah.
there. He's
like
gonna go
military
crazy.
police in the urban cities is a whole nother conversation that we could get into a different time.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
like bazookas, they got tanks, they got armored vehicles, they got everything.
But
Shields.
Do we need it?
Sometimes, not really though.
No.
Very occasionally, but not really.
But see, look at other.
Sometimes there is like in LA, like those two
So
guys.
we're
who are
just
like,
gonna get into it now.
No. We'll get into it next week. But like the guys in LA who went on the shooting spree was really famous in the 90s. They had like AKs. They killed a few cops.
Yeah, I mean, you
like, they
definitely need like
equipment for
response
stuff like that.
teams for like severe
It's
situations.
an
regular
arms
cops-
race.
yeah.
It's an arms race because look, if the people who have weapons and are, let's say, planning to use them for nefarious reasons, they know it's like, okay, well, if cops are coming, they're going to bring heavier shit to take me out. So, and it goes vice versa because the cops are like, these guys got some crazy weapons, now we got to have them. So who the fuck's going to de-escalate?
I don't know. Well, maybe
Definitely not me.
they can be, separate things. Maybe they still need those things to rein in if there's like a group of people going psycho and shooting at people. But yeah, they probably, could ban some of those weapons. They did. I think after that, that's when they banned automatic weapons. After that, it was semi-auto only because they were just like spraying the streets.
Yeah, no,
It's
that's
fucked up.
yeah. We can get into a whole topic about gun control.
Yeah. I didn't want to get into gun control. I was thinking about crazy shootouts. All right, should we end on that?
Yeah. Pow
Alright.
pow.
Well, thank you for coming on, Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me again. It's always been a good time here.
What was
Kyle's
this, episode
lightheaded. He's got
65 or
wings
60?
over there. He's about to pass out.
Was this episode 65 or 66?
66.
Yeah.
66. All right, so that's gonna be my lucky number. I'm gonna play that in the lottery in some way.
Play 666. Perfect.
Yep. No. Yep. Maybe.
Nah, it's too fishy of a number, regardless of what you believe in. Too many bad
999.
auras around it.
What if I played 66?
I've honestly gotten
Ooh.
that number at like a fast food drive-through before, and they're like, and they change it. Like, they knock a penny off or give, whatever.
It's like the 13th floor doesn't exist.
Yeah, in hotels. Which is
But-
bullshit. It does.
But
in a lot of
really,
hotels.
something is the 13th floor. So is it the 12th floor that's the 13th floor? Or
I've never
is it
fucking
the
heard of this before. What the fuck are
14th?
you guys talking about?
I don't know. It's a whole thing where like the 13th floor is. Is it from a movie, right? That's the reason why.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look that up. Maybe we'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
Yeah, pull that up.
13th floor. You really want me to pull it up?
No, I'm
No.
just yeah.
Okay.
I
I was
don't-
about to say I'll pull that shit up.
Follow us on Twitter,
Yeah.
TCOC Podcast.
All right. Till next time.
Alphabet soup out.
Thanks for listening.